the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Fires down the middle for Gordon, reaches up, extends, slams in the end zone, between two defenders, touchdown, Patriots!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots open up their regular season on the road against the Miami Dolphins.
James White cuts it under the right arm, cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line! A touchdown! And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
And so it begins, the 2022 campaign for your New England Patriots. Patriots Pregame Show fueled by Dunkin, Hardy, Mike Dussault, Tamara Brown, and of course Paul Perillo. All here on a Sunday morning from Gillette Stadium as the Patriots are in Miami. They've been down there for 2.5 weeks now, practicing and training and getting ready for this game. Acclimating to the South Florida climate.
They're all dressed like Crocodile Tubbs now. They've gone full South Florida by this point. You know, the white suits with the T-shirts underneath everything.
My favorite storyline of the week was acclimating. I'm like, what are they, climbing Everest? They have to spend 2 weeks at base camp. Now we're going to go up to Camp 3 on the South Call, and then we're going to come back down, and then we're going to get the Sherpas. Stop it. It's one of the many things we have to talk about today, though. Tamara, how are you?
I'm doing great, except for the fact that I didn't get the blue polo memo.
There was no memo. It just worked out that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we're basic commentator guys with blue polos.
I mean, I have a limited repertoire. You know, Patriots polo. You know,
I feel like I lucked into it too because these two. They're the two best friends that anyone could have. It's very. I'm so happy you're here for even if it's just for half the pregame.
We didn't get Jersey Mikes today. Don't be cranky.
Oh, wait till they walk in with Jersey Mikes and they're just brushing the crumbs off their face. Oh, it was so good, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I guess I'll just drink the coffee that Morel got for me and be satisfied with that. They don't care about anyone but each other.
No. We do the 4 and the 2. We get the one large and one small, so we can share. We each get 3 sandwiches.
Wait till we start doing that. Wait till we start doing that.
And then they eat from both ends like Lady and the Tramp style. And they meet in the middle.
I don't know why you're so jealous.
Because I just
because you don't have that relationship with Zoe or Beetle. Like, don't blame that on us.
I don't have that relationship with my wife. There's no one in my life that I love and care for as much as you two do each other. So Tamara,
are you jacked up?
I am not in this.
You jacked up for this game today?
I can't wait for real actual football. I don't know how much of it is me just like excited for the start of the regular season or my hatred of the preseason. I really do hate the preseason.
I do too.
I cannot stand it. So this is awesome to have this happening today. I don't care that they're on the road. I love a 1 o'clock game. I think 1 o'clock games are great. But I'm excited to watch this Miami team too. I mean, starting with a divisional opponent, somebody who it has got some interesting things happening down there with their new head coach, with some new weapons on offense. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch a game that matters.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, it's it's just interesting because the Patriots played them in the regular season finale last year. So you have a little bit of I don't want to say a rematch. I know Fred hates the rematch whole thing, but Miami certainly has gotten better. Patriots haven't really had a lot of answers for Tua in the 3 games they've faced him. I mean, maybe I should restate that because I know we'll get into that a little bit of like the reality of. I think Tua's played well, but I don't think it's like they just can't solve Tua. Miami's played well, and so now you get kind of the same Patriots offense with Devontae Parker and Cole Strange in. Those are probably the only 2 major changes that you'll see today. Hopefully, maybe Thornton or I'm sorry. I'm blanking on Montgomery's name. Ty Montgomery. Hopefully, he's maybe able to go. I think that's been a little bit of a surprise this week.
Yeah, and it looks like he has a chance too. We should talk about that a little bit because there's been some tweets about the early group that's been out working out, and he's not one of them. So I wonder if he's more of a game time decision. But it's been early warm-ups, and there's one surprise in this group to me. But it's Chasen Hines, Anthony Jennings, Sam Roberts, Sean Wade, and Bailey Zappi. And most of the time, the writers that are on hand, they'll tell you that group, general terms, not 100%, but that group winds up being inactive. A little surprised to see Anthony Jennings on there, disappointed,
me too.
And
as well.
Sean Wade, I feel like he appeared on the injury report.
Yeah, he got hurt.
out of nowhere. I feel like towards the end of the week.
So he must have gotten hurt in practice on Friday, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Tamara, you fired up for this game?
Yes, because I think like you, after like the first like week of training camp, you're like, okay, I'm bored. Like I'm ready to see something else.
Yeah.
And I think we got a little bit of excitement with the 2 joint practices with the Panthers and the Raiders. But then again, it's like, okay, like I'm ready to see something because we saw so few snaps from the starters in the preseason games. It's like, I'm ready to see what this finally looks like.
There's also something to being told time and time and again while you're watching training camp that you don't know what you're looking at.
Yes.
So shut up,
Yeah.
idiot. You know, we're told that, by analysts and sometimes head coaches and anyone else. It's like, you don't even know what you're watching here. So, don't bother getting all worked up about it. I'm like, well, why am I watching it?
Right.
Why am I? I think that, Paul, after seeing as many camps as you have, Deuce, for your eye on the defense, Tamara, you're around all kinds of football. I think you guys can glean things from it. I think it's harder for people like me who are like, yeah, watch a lot of football, have a good understanding of it, but I don't necessarily know if what they're working on with the offensive line is paying dividends or not. So there's something to be gained from it, obviously, but it's hard for regular fans to get a lot out of the preseason.
Yeah, and especially with like the running game, we really haven't you don't get to see that much of it in practice, like at all. So it's like, okay, what does that look like?
Yeah, there's just so many qualifiers throughout the summer of the performances, and we liked what we did against the Raiders in joint practices, and there wasn't great stuff in the game, but we have to talk about what we see. And I mean, the fact of it was we saw plenty of practices, and they had their moments, they had some plays, but they just never really strung things together in practice. And going in today, to see a 10-play drive where they go down the field and they were able to score some points, I mean, that would be excellent. Able that would be, I don't want to say surprising, because I mean they should be able to do that, but at the same time, just not something we saw all summer. And you have a lot. I don't know if today is more uncertainty generally than a normal preseason game, but it kind of first regular season game, but it feels kind of like that. Like I don't really know what I'm going to see on either side of the ball.
Yeah, and
I agree with Mike on that point.
Yeah, and I think when you mentioned string things together, there was a struggle to string things together when we did see the starters in the Raiders game. It was like, okay, how many series are we going to see before we finally see them go down the field and score a touchdown? It was a struggle, and then we didn't see them after that, and I kind of wanted to see them a little bit longer to see if they could do it again. So I'm definitely going into this one, which I'll talk a little bit more when we get to keys, but I'm struggling to believe that they're going to get off to a fast start today.
All right, let's get to those keys right now. Keys to the game.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also?
You have the key. You have the right one.
Paul, before we get your key, I want to know the answer to your own question. Are you fired up for this game?
I am fired up. I love the regular season. I love week 1. I can't wait for the Patriots game, see how that unfolds. I can't wait for the post-game show with Red Zone going on behind you. I can't wait for the whole thing. I love the start of football season.
Did the Bills
week
game?
3 or 4, into it, then I'll be like, okay, let's move this along and get into let's get into playoff contention. But when the season starts, I am jacked
You're in a
up.
sweet spot right now. Week 1 is a sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Plus, you get home
So
tonight.
Paul, the Bills game, did that get you even more fired up for the season to start, with that being the season opener?
I thought the Bills were really impressive. It's hard to not come away with a team that turned the ball over 4 times and still winning going away against the defending champs in their building. But, yeah, I mean, that was kind of eye-opening. Maybe you get a little less enthusiasm for your team because of how well, a team in your division played. But I'm still there is part of that. Like, I agree with what Mike said. Like, there's always uncertainty heading into the season. You don't know how you're going to, what your identity is going to be exactly coming out of the summer. But they didn't do anything really well for pretty much the entirety of the summer. They didn't move the ball against backups against Carolina or the Raiders. Not at all. And now you're going out there and you're like, well, can we move it when it counts against Miami? Maybe they will. And then we're talking in the postgame like, well, they figured things out in the 2 weeks in between the last time we saw them. It's 16 days, I think, since they played that game, and things have changed.
You just stumbled onto something. I don't want to get away from the keys here, but it's about skipping the middle in so many things, which would make them more enjoyable. You know, if you're watching the Masters, you want to see the opening shots.
Yeah.
I
don't need to see Friday and Saturday. Useless.
Skip to the back nine on Sunday. That concert that I went to here Friday night, Rammstein. I see how the stage opens up. Let's get to the finale and the fireworks at the end. Just skip all that stuff in the middle. Skipping the middle. I don't know. Maybe there's a book or a mini series or something.
My brilliance.
I know. It's
skip the middle.
Yeah, skip the middle. What's your key to the game, Paul?
My key to the game is to limit Miami's explosiveness, the big plays. I think those are the killers for any defense. But I think the Patriots have generally done a good job of making teams work their way down the field. I think at times last year they struggled in that. Here and there. I think that Tua is a pretty accurate quarterback, and he is capable of putting together long drives. He's done it against the Patriots in the past, but I don't know if he's capable of doing that time after time after time. So if you can, obviously we're talking about Tyreek Hill here. You can't let him have one of those games that he's had in the past against the Patriots when he was with Kansas City. The last couple of times, they've done a better job of limiting his impact on the game. They need to do that today as well.
I love some of that analysis. I heard that earlier this week. It's like, well, Tyreek Hill can have a big game. He had a big game against the Patriots at Kansas City, and the Patriots still won. Would you stop? Would you stop with that? Talking about the Patriots like they're this singular entity that exists in a vacuum.
Well,
this
plus,
team is so
generally
much
when
different.
Tyreek Hill had big games, the Chiefs won. In general, like the 42-point game on opening night. I don't even know, 17.
Yeah, that was.
They all blend together. CTE.
All right, so that is Paul's limiting the big plays. That's what you want to see happen here tonight. Tamara, what's your key to the game?
Start fast, and finish strong. I think that for Miami, if Miami comes out and they score a touchdown on their first drive of the game, and then the Patriots don't score for another 4 drives, you blink and the score is going to be 21-0. And so I think that they have to match Miami's energy in terms of if Tua's coming out with big plays, Mac Jones needs to be doing the same, and the people surrounding him. And I also think that you can't just start fast and then what we saw at the end of last season and not finish the game. I think that they have to be able to start fast and be able to match with Miami's energy on offense, but then also be able to get those stops late in the game when they really need it.
Yep, I agree with all of that.
I mean, it's always great, and I mean, to I guess mine somewhat piggybacks on top of Tamara's. I mean, I think the fast start is everything in terms of going down there early and all this acclimating to the weather, and all we're focusing on is football. So mine is don't beat yourself. It's just a baseline for me, not knowing what to expect. I just want to see them come out and play clean football. And I know it probably won't be perfect, but the pre-snap penalties, the too many men in the huddle, those kind of things which just show a general operational, mishaps, those kind of things, they can't happen in week 1, especially when you've been, down there to focus on this game. So to piggyback on that with Tamara, start fast, get out there, just play clean. It doesn't have to be perfect right out of the gate, but I just think you can't beat yourself today. I think if you're playing against yourself and the Dolphins, it's not going to be a close game. So baseline for me, don't beat yourself.
You see me wincing? And the clean football? That does not get me all juiced up and fired up for the regular season.
I know.
Just go out there and execute, and if it's a 3 and out, as long as you don't have any false starts, then Deuce is going to be
lower
happy.
expectations here, Hardy.
What are you talking about? You got to play with your hair on fire, man. You are playing with an unloaded deck. You got to, and this is why mine. You got to dial up the D. I don't know if they can take care of Tyreek Hill in zone coverage in the secondary. I don't know how they're going to apply pressure to Tua, but they better do something, because I think Miami is going to do it to you. They love to blitz, and they're going to be coming after Mac Jones. You're going to have to respond in kind, and you're going to have to do something defensively that is going to get them rattled and get them shook. And you know what, Deuce? You might incur a couple of penalties in the process. Okay. I think we need to see a little crazy out of this Patriots team, because I don't know that they're good enough to go out there and play clean football and win a bunch of games this season. I think they got to get a little nutsos at times.
Why are you looking over your shoulder?
Play on the edge.
This is Patriots.com, but I don't know if they have enough talent top to bottom.
Nuts? You want to get a little weird? You want to get a little crazy? Is that what we're going to do?
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. You know what? Am I telling tales out of school? Am I saying anything that's
no,
totally wrong?
I
think
that what I think Tamara and Mike are getting at, I largely agree with. When they've gotten into trouble late last year, it was disastrous starts. And a lot of those disastrous starts had to do with mistakes. It's you give up a touchdown in the first drive against Miami, then you throw a pick six.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, game, set, match. In the NFL, if you just spot a team 14 points before you even get settled in, more often than not, you're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Especially if the other team has at least as much talent as you do. And to your point, I think you feel like Miami probably has a little bit more talent than they do. Certainly at the skill position guys, the edges.
But I like the philosophy, though. I think cut it loose and play loose, play fast. I mean, I think those are definitely part of it. But, there's a certain line of just the pre-snap stuff. I mean, look, penalties are going to happen, no question. But, there's just certain ones that I feel like at this stage of the game are unacceptable. If you're telling me that you're going down there, with so much focus on starting fast and being ready to go, that to me, I don't know how the game's going to go today, but I think if you start slow, that's more of an indictment on this whole week of preparation. Well, why do we go there if we're getting another slow start? What's the difference?
Yeah, well, we are going to have our Behind the Enemy Lines guest joining us here in a couple of minutes, Alan Poupard, who is going to, right?
Yeah, it's great.
That's well done right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
From SI Fan Nation, all Dolphins at Poupard NFL. There's a lot going on there. So we'll be is he on the line? Are we ready to go behind enemy lines?
You know the view from New England.
We go behind enemy lines.
But what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah.
I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
Makes me laugh every time. Paul, just no bones about it.
Nope.
But we've spoken with Alan so many times. I got to feel like he's climbing up in the rankings here. Alan, thanks for joining us again. What's going on?
I better be in the top 10 or I might hang up right away.
Oh, you're a top tenor. We talked to you at the combine now. You're in a special category. You used to be one of us. So that's you have a special spot at Patriots Unfiltered.
Aw.
Alan, we're just sitting here beginning the show here today talking about it's a combination of our excitement for the start of the regular season and our universal hatred of the preseason. Do you feel the same way, or has the preseason been entertaining and insightful for you in Miami?
No, preseason is never, ever, ever, ever insightful. No. Because even the second you start thinking, oh, I'm picking up things here, then you have to stop yourself, maybe slap yourself on the face and go, it's the preseason, it doesn't mean anything. So, no, to me, it's a combination of the excitement here with this new offense that the Dolphins have put together with head coach Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Teron Armstead, Raheem Mostert, Cedric Wilson, Jason, and the list goes on and on, plus always the uncertainty of week one, again, because we don't learn anything in the preseason because teams really don't show a whole lot. They do everything very basic. So you combine those factors, and thank goodness it's a game that actually counts, and that's why we're so jacked up for week one.
I want to ask you just about that new look offense. I mean, how have things been coming together, and what's kind of the view of Tua going into this season with all those new pieces?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the view about Tua depends who you ask, because you're going to get on one side is he's going to light it up. You watch him, he's going to be every bit the quarterback he was at Alabama, and then you go on the other side, and it's like, man, he's going to be a game manager. We got better talent around him, and then you got even among that group, you have some of those he thinks no matter what. So obviously, it's 2022, so there's no nuance, and God forbid the possibility exists that it's somewhere between those two extremes. But yeah, it's absolutely intriguing to see what's going to happen because it's undeniable that he's got better talent around him than he's had his first two seasons. If for no other reason than the acquisition of Tyreek Hill, who is even faster in person when you watch him at practice than he is on game day, which is kind of crazy. I mean, that dude can run. I'm not exactly coming up with a great revelation here, but that dude can run and he changes an offense. And then there's the intrigue about what the new scheme is going to look like with the success that the 49ers have had with it. And a little bit as well, Sean McVay with the Rams, because it's kind of it's got similar concepts. So there's a whole lot of anticipation and excitement among the fan base that this could be the best offense the Dolphins have had in several years. I mean, it's crazy. I did a story this week. Dolphins have not had a top 10 offense in terms of total yards since 1995. And to give you an idea of how ridiculous that is, The second longest drought belongs to the Cleveland Browns, who have not had a top 10 offense since 2007. If my math is correct, it would be 12 years later.
Wow.
So we're talking, it's been 27 years since the Dolphins have had a top 10 offense. The hope is that this is the year. And even if it doesn't get the top 10, at the very least it can get into the top 20 or top 15.
My question is, this is Tamara, by the way. So I talked to Cameron Wolf from NFL Network, because he's been at almost every single training camp practice this summer, and he talked about the offensive line and the changes that were made in the offseason in regards to making the Dolphins line better. He said, according to Pro Football Focus, the Dolphins have arguably had one of the worst lines in terms of protection and pass blocking. So bringing in Connor Williams and also Teron Armstead and then moving some other guys around, how would you assess the new offensive line in shaping this Dolphins offense?
And that's the thing. That's part of the not being able to learn anything in the preseason. But number one, Teron Armstead didn't play it down in the preseason. So what we have to go off of in terms of what this new starting offensive line is going to look like is what we've seen at practice. And I think we all know practice is just not the same as the preseason. Preseason is not the same as the regular season. So we just don't know. There is hope that it's going to be better. I know if you listen to Pro Football Focus, it was the worst offensive line in the history of the NFL, maybe in the history of all professional sports, combining basketball, hockey, and baseball all put together. I mean, that's how poorly they ranked it. Pro Football Reference doesn't have it in terms of the metrics. Our pressures didn't have it anywhere near that bad. So let's say from my end, from what I saw, it wasn't quite as bad as Pro Football Focus makes it sound. It wasn't good. Having said all that, Teron Armstead, if he can stay healthy, that's the big question with him, makes a huge difference because he's the type of big-time offensive lineman this line hasn't had in a few years. And then the other factor that could come into play is that the scheme seems to be a better fit for some of the guys who struggled last year. Primarily, if I'm going to look at one guy, would be Austin Jackson, who was the 18th overall pick in the 2020 draft, who started at left tackle last year, really struggled. They moved him inside the left guard where he was only marginally better. Now he's playing at right tackle in a scheme that emphasizes athleticism a little bit more. So perhaps he's a better fit. So as much as there's optimism that Tua is ready to take a big step in year 3, there's also optimism that the offensive line will take a big jump, and the two might be correlated in the final analysis.
Alan, let's talk a little bit about the defense in Miami. I know that obviously Byron Jones is out for the first 4 weeks minimum. Some injury questions elsewhere. How healthy is the Dolphins defense heading into this opener?
Well, they listed 5 guys as questionable for this game. 3 of them were guys who would play a good amount of snaps if they were healthy, and that's Andrew Van Ginkel, who had an appendectomy a couple of weeks ago, Raekwon Davis, who starts at nose tackle, and then Eric Rowe, who is a backup safety. Again, all 3 are questionable. The Dolphins did elevate rookie Veron McKinley III from the practice squad on Saturday, so is that an indication that Rowe won't be ready? Possibly. Raekwon Davis, if you read between the lines, doesn't sound necessarily all that likely that he plays. So then the Dolphins either would start, if that's the case, Zach Steeler in his spot, or they could use the veteran John Jenkins, now 33 years old, one of the only 30-somethings on the team. And then as far as Van Ginkel is concerned, they have an awful lot of depth in terms of that edge defender, outside linebacker type of guy, especially after the offseason acquisition of Melvin Ingram and most recently former Patriots Trey Flowers to go along with last year's first-round pick Jalen Phillips, so they'll be okay there. The big question with the defense, more than anything, well, obviously in the first 4 weeks you got how much will the absence of Byron Jones be felt? That's number one. And then in a bigger picture, the big question on defense is, can they maintain the same level of success that they had when Brian Flores was the head coach? Because Brian Flores had his fingerprints all over that defense, and even though he wasn't the defensive coordinator, again, he played a significant role, and now he's gone. So what changes with the defense?
All right, Alan. As I'm sure you remember, we always ask for a score prediction from our Behind the Enemy Lines guest. Do you have one for the game today?
Well, I do, and I'm going to revert to the one I put in my game preview column that I did yesterday. And as I explained it, I think it's going to be close. for the most part. And then the Dolphins are going to score a late touchdown to put it away. And I had as the final score 27-17 Dolphins.
All right, Alan. Always great to talk to you. Thank you. Moving your way up in the rankings. I would say top six.
Top six, 7. Yeah, I can move you up. Just we'll talk. We'll talk. I'll move you up a little bit.
Well, the goal is to get the top 5 after the rematch at Gillette Stadium.
Okay. All right. That's a good goal. You should always have goals. You always want to get better as the season goes on.
And I'll tell you right now, Ellen, if you are in the stadium for that game and if you come and do the show with us in person, it's going to do wonders for your ranking.
Not only I'll get you in the top 5 for that, but I'll let you I'll let you have a donut from Dunkin' Donuts.
We have donuts.
Wow.
It's big. No expenses spared here at Patriots.com.
Very good.
Thanks, Alan. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Enjoy the opener.
All righty. Take care, guys.
See ya. There he goes.
Good
guy. He is a very good guy. Alan Papard. He does all Dolphins for the SI Fan Nation thing. You can follow him ALAIN POUPART.
He's Canadian. He's one of my Canadian bros.
I believe he is French Canadian.
Yeah.
Yes,
There you go.
yes. But he covers some hockey too, and does a great job with the Dolphins down there in Miami. We didn't really get a chance to ask him. I'm wondering what you guys think about the one of the favorite topics of the week in facing Tua and the arm strength, because it's always a question about his arm strength. He doesn't really have the arm strength. I've seen stuff from camp, and again, what do I know? It's only camp. It doesn't mean anything. Looks like he can throw a deep ball, but Zoe will oftentimes correct me on this. He goes, it's not about how far you can throw it. It's the trajectory, and it is the velocity on the mid-range and even short passes that concerns people, I think, with Tua.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that arm strength is not one of his best traits. I don't think it's deniable. He doesn't have what I would call a plus arm, as they like to say in scouting parlance.
Ooh.
Right? But he's always 1,000% right. That doesn't mean you can't throw deep balls and you can't throw with anticipation the way Mac Jones does. Mm-hmm. I think Mac Jones has a better arm in terms of arm strength than Tua, but I don't think there's that much of a difference. I think they're both very similar kind of skill sets. I think Mac's a little bit bigger, and what I really liked about Tua as a college player was his ability to use his legs to move around, and he doesn't really do that as much as a pro. He's, I think, sneaky effective in the red zone as a runner. I think he has 3 rushing touchdowns against the Patriots in those 3 wins. But he's not a guy that's going to beat you often. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not going to beat you with his legs.
No, and I think what scares me is not the potential of the deep pass. It's just the catch and go, the short little stuff that, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waller are going to catch and just tear right through the defense. Those are the ones that concern me more than, the deep pass or that. But, I think the RPO stuff is part of it too. I think the Patriots last year just looked like they weren't really sure how to disrupt that, how to get them off schedule. Multiple drives of 10-plus plays. And, it's just that was one of the things, again, that was troubling last year about them is, you're going to have to deal with the Bills and the Dolphins and all the things that their offenses can do. But, in the 2 games, you didn't really have much of a plan that evolved and caused problems the second time around. So we'll see. They're going to have to do some stuff different. They've got some different pieces, especially at the second level, and I'm just curious how that all comes together with all those safeties. Is there, is Jabril Peppers involved in some kind of plan? That's why it's disappointing to see Anthony Jennings warming up, and, I'm trying to it's hard to sugarcoat that and not say, geez, I felt like he was one of the guys coming out of camp that you felt like, man, we got something unexpected out of this guy.
I thought there was a pretty good chance he'd start.
Yeah, me too. So, how does it all fit in to the plan, and how much do they use the safeties? How much is Mac Wilson and Raekwon McMillan more involved than we were kind of expecting? So a lot that we don't know going to this, how it's all going to kind of, I guess, premiere for us here and how they put things together out of the gate. I'm just hopeful that they find something new and a way to be effective. As you said, what was your key, Hardy? How did you dial up the D? I think that's what they got to do. What are they going to dial up? I don't think any of us are really sure.
So I was interested in our behind enemy lines because that's the second time in 48 hours that I've heard someone say Tyreek Hill is so much faster in person than what you see on TV. Oh. Because when I talked to Cameron Wolfe about this from the NFL Network, because he's on the Dolphins beat, he said the same thing. He said, obviously, I've seen Tyreek Hill play many games for the Chiefs. We knew he was fast, but seeing him in person, he said he's so fast, and he practices the way he plays in a game. He said he probably had the best training camp out of anybody on the whole team because he was going 100 miles per hour, just like he would in a game.
I wish I was fast. I was never fast.
He was blown away. He's like, we knew he was fast, but seeing him in person, totally different type of speed. Then also, you talked about him blowing through the defense after catch. He said one of the biggest things they were focusing on during training camp, yards after catch. He said that's going to be huge in this game on Sunday.
Well, that's that offense is predicated on it. That's why I think when Deuce brought that up, that's a concern for me. And you wonder maybe if you see more Wilson. I thought we would see McMillan with Bentley, but I wonder if you see more Mac Wilson because of that. Maybe he gives you a little bit more underneath, another guy to sort of clog the middle with more mobility. But I mean, I don't know. I was expecting Jennings maybe to be involved on the edge, opposite of Judon.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll go with, odd or even fronts there too. You never know.
Well, I mean, it is, and I mean, I think it is worth mentioning the speed aspect. And I don't think that Jennings is really, one of their most athletic second-level guys. He's more on the stout and hopefully pass rusher type. So, it just might be something where they're going to try to match speed with speed. Are they going to put some, Jack Jones, Marcus Jones, those young guys, inexperienced but both quick and, I think somewhat drafted to deal with some of this stuff. So I'm not sure if those guys will get thrown right into the flames.
Quick
but
question,
maybe more speed.
because I know you guys pay more attention to this stuff, especially on a Saturday when I'm like 11 Miller Lights
Oh.
deep. I know it was.
Yeah.
I know it was
Elevations?
Lil Jordan Humphrey, and who was the second
and Harvey
one?
Longy.
It was Longy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting at the time. I thought I remembered this correctly yesterday in my haze. That it wasn't J.J. Taylor.
Yeah.
But now I'm watching like all of these people, according to the Twitter machine, coming out to start to work out, and Ty Montgomery hasn't been among them. So I wonder if maybe he doesn't have a chance to play.
They're just going to roll with two.
Well,
and I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out probably in about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
The official inactive list.
I was thinking about Jacoby Myers, and he's been listed on the list all week for knee. So I was like, okay, maybe Will Jordan Humphrey has something to do with that too, in addition to Ty Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's out there with a brace on, according to Phil Perry too.
Jacoby.
Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems. I think that's absolutely. And that's a spot where we saw him work in a little bit as camp progressed into that slot spot. Another big guy. So I think that's a great call. I'm curious how much Jacoby Myers can do today, and how maybe how much they might struggle without him getting open on third down. Where does Matt go with the ball if he's not 100%?
Well, when the warm-ups begin, we'll bring them to you here on the Patriots Pregame Show. We'll get a look at everybody out there on the field. But we also have to get to your calls here, 855-PATS-500. You can also email us, webradio@patriots.com. We begin with our buddy Patty in Agawam. Cousin Patty, what's going on?
What is up, everyone? I am freaking psyched. I am pumped up. I can't wait for this game to get going. I'll give you what I think is going to happen today. I do think that this is going to be a pretty close game, but as we've seen historically, not only do the Patriots not play well in Miami, but it seems like every other game that they play against Miami, something weird happens. And I think this is going to be no stranger to that. I'm picking the Dolphins to win 27-24. I think the Pats are going to hang with them, but sort of similar to what happened in the opener last year when Damian Harris fumbled, I could see something like that. Like a stupid turnover, a costly mistake to give the Dolphins the ball back and go in for a score or go in to kick a field goal to win the game or something like that. But that's all I got, guys. I'm psyched. Let's freaking go, baby.
Oh, come on.
All right, Patty.
Come on, Patty. Why are you predicting a stupid mistake to blow for the Patriots?
Yeah, that's going to ruin Deuce's day. That's not clean.
That's not clean. It's not sexy. It's not sexy at all.
So what's not sexy at all is the fact that I'm about to bring up offensive lines again, and I think that
worst.
I really think that that's going to be a huge part for both sides with Miami's offensive line, bringing in Connor Williams, who's played at a different position his entire career with the Cowboys, and now moving him to center for the Dolphins, and then also just Teron Armstead, who, like he said, hasn't practiced all summer really. It's like I'm thinking about the Patriots offensive line and all the new pieces, and Trent Brown and Isaiah Wynn moving around, and
Isaiah Wynn warming up too. Looks like he's still working through that back injury, which is a concern.
It's like both offensive lines could potentially limit the success both of these offenses have.
Yeah, another matchup I'd like to highlight too is Cole Strange against Christian Wilkins.
Ooh,
and
I forgot about him.
Christian Wilkins is a real, big boy, disruptive, and I think with Cole Strange we saw some struggles with power this year. He doesn't have a lot of, as they say, hardy sand in the pants. That's a little Paul scouting term for you.
Rocks in his pocket.
But a little trouble. And I mean, that guy, Christian Wilkins, he's a disruptive guy in the middle, and no better way, or I'd say no easier way to disrupt the offense than get quick pressure right up the middle with him.
All right. You're welcome to join us here at 855-PATS-500 as we continue with our Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin. A lot of people picking the Dolphins to win this game. I mean, I'm sure there is a comprehensive analysis out there somewhere of all the writers and all the analysts, but I mean, it's jarring to see the number of people nationally, locally, across the board.
Not in the Globe.
Nope.
But okay, wait.
I don't think it's in that paper. They put their picks in the Thursday or Friday.
Okay, but Hardy,
4 guys picked Miami. I was really surprised by that.
But Hardy, to be fair, how many people picked the Rams to beat the Bills on Thursday?
Well, that's what I'm
almost not. I mean, I did.
Did I say it wrong?
But almost nobody else.
I'm saying people picking the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well,
yeah. I mean, it's.
I was just surprised that based on, because I think you're absolutely right. I can never remember as much local angst, to use one of your favorite words, Hardy, about the Patriots in the before they've played a game. I can't recall sort of less faith that this team is going to surprise us all and make a Super Bowl run, right? And then I opened the Globe, and I think they have 7 people pick the games, and 4 of them picked the Patriots. I was really surprised by that.
I thought you said, okay, but before
I may have said the wrong
Dolphins,
team.
Yes.
No, but
so the majority are picking the Pats to win this game.
Well, maybe they're doing it with the spread. Maybe they're taking the hook. It was a 3.5 point spread, I think, in that paper. So maybe they're falling back on that. But yeah.
Well, I mean,
I was surprised by that.
I mean, I picked the Patriots to win a little bit, but it requires a leap of faith. It requires a leap of faith, I think. I mean, the Dolphins have won 3 straight. You just saw them 2 games ago. Patriots didn't really have any answers for them. They've added the best receiver in the game. They've rejiggered an offensive line that was a problem. And what have the Patriots done? They've added Devontae Parker and got a rookie left guard. They didn't look good this summer. There were a lot of inconsistencies. So, I mean, you could run right down the line. It's not hard to see why people should pick the Dolphins. I mean, all signs are pointing logically that the Dolphins should win this game. But you throw it all out week 1.
And I do think one of the things that hasn't gotten really any attention is how banged up the Dolphins defense is, and that's why I asked Alan about that. I had read one place that they could be without as many as 5 potential starters. Now, it doesn't sound like it's that much in reality, but that's a handful of guys that play prominent roles for them. Doesn't sound like we'll be playing. And Byron Jones tops that list to me. Yeah. I think that's a big loss for them.
Do we know how Jalen Waddle's doing? Is he full go?
Yeah, he's full go. Yeah, he was removed from the injury list actually on Friday.
All right, let's go back to the phones here. We'll go to Christian in L.A.
There was a chance that he wasn't going to play.
Good
job, Fred.
I hope Fred Kirsch is listening.
Good job, Fred.
Because that just, to bring him some joy on this Sunday morning would make me feel joyful. Tyler in Nashville on the Patriots pregame show. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, I was going to ask about the Dolphins going into a new coaching system. Does anybody think they're going to have any growing pains today? And how can the Pats grow on that?
Yeah, how can they exploit that? I mean, I don't know.
I think there's a chance that guy's coaching his head coach first ever.
Yeah.
I think that the coaching matchup has to go in Bill Belichick's corner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and based on when I saw the video of Mike McDaniel getting out of his car this morning on NFL Network, and he was having some trouble with the door lock, it was like a funny little moment where they get the live arrival, and he's hitting the button did I get it? I mean, we've all been there, right? But I don't know. I mean, they've added some new pieces. They've got speed at running back. They've got Tyreek Hill. I mean, and obviously Mike McDaniel is long tenured in this whole system that he's trying to install. Of course, there could be growing pains for sure, but what is Bill Belichick gonna spring on them? What are they gonna spring on the Patriots? That's what's fun about Week 1. You really don't have much of an idea.
Well, and to me, it's about what happens then, because I'm sure that Miami's going to do something that Bill's not expecting, and I'm sure Bill's going to do something that they're not expecting. But what happens after that?
Yeah, adjustments.
I have faith that Belichick will make adjustments and figure out what's going on, what they're doing that he wasn't expecting, and how to combat it. I don't know about Mike McDaniel. Not that I'm saying that he can't do it, but he's never coached a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he could turn out to be like the next Sean McVay.
Yeah, and similar.
And 2 years from now, we're looking at him as like, wow, he's one of the bright young coaches in football.
Yeah, and as we talked about, hasn't called plays before either. So I
Yep.
mean, he's balancing a couple new things as well. So it's a lot of questions all around.
The thing you have to remember, Tyler, is head coaching column check for the Patriots.
Bill's got to get that over first time ever.
Of course.
Head coach.
What about overall coaching staff? Dolphins versus the Patriots, because this has been a huge storyline in the preseason for the Patriots. How do they match up when you get to coordinators? Well, the Patriots don't have any outside of special teams, so that's going to be an issue. How is it going to be?
You have a lot of tone. You have a tonality issue.
What do you want from me?
For you.
You want to talk about the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins? It's Frank Smith. I can tell you all about him. You want to talk about the offensive coordinator for the Patriots?
You can tell me all about Frank Smith?
I can't tell you about the offensive coordinator for the Patriots because they don't have one. Frank Smith spent 18. Frank Smith spent 18.
Never heard of Frank Smith.
18 years in the
NFL. I kind of thought it was a fake name.
I was like, who is Frank Smith?
12 years in the NFL, 6 in college. He ran the run game for the Chargers.
Look at you doing research.
That's right here.
I like Hardy's honesty, though. I like his honesty.
He is nothing
telling
if
it like
not
it is.
forthright.
Well, once you get past the head coach, here's a fun question. Anybody been watching Hard Knocks?
I watched all of it except for the last. I haven't seen the finale yet, but I
Okay.
saw them all.
Never
Okay.
not once. No, I didn't.
I liked
see
it. I was back in.
haven't
much.
seen it.
I've been out
Okay.
on it for a while. I was back in for your Lions.
This was a fun question. A couple of times I heard brought up over the last couple of weeks. Head coach, there's a huge amount. It's like the final exam. It's a lot on your grade is going to be given toward the final. So, Belichick versus Dan Campbell. Obviously, Belichick. Overall coaching staff, the Detroit Lions. Whose staff would you take? Now, again, you're almost always going to take the Patriots because you still have Bill. Everything else, you have to give to the Detroit Lions. Watching the way that team performs in camp and the way their coaches behave and the experience that they have.
Right now.
So
The
I'm gonna
experience
laugh
that
at
they-
one thing because
Wait,
I
wait.
literally did not see hardly any of it, but I did see there was a day. I want to say it was the second episode where they were showing Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn going back
Just
and forth.
yelling.
And I don't think that's productive at all. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think.
I agree.
Look, I
don't
found
think
it.
that's
I
productive
found
at
it a
all.
little obnoxious. But if you just
Maybe it was hamming it up for the camera to you.
Okay.
In your defense.
But
yes.
just take one of those guys. Would you swap out the OCs on those two teams?
No.
Well, I would because we don't have one.
Well, for
and
O-
I would and I'd
For
swap out-
OC, I would because
And
we don't have an offensive coach. So yes, I absolutely would.
Yeah. What about on defense? Like I think I would
I'm
do.
not sure.
I think I would do a lot. I think I would take a lot from what other teams have on our coaching staff right now. That's all I'm saying.
Actually, who is the OC of the Cowboy? The Lions. Who was that guy? I'm blanking on his name, but I kind of liked him a little bit. I mean, he was in the background for all the Deuce Staley stuff because he was talking crap the whole time. But the offensive coordinator, I kind of liked him a little bit.
Ben Johnson.
This is the
Is
most
there any relation to Frank
These
Smith?
names are just very.
They're made up. I'm telling you.
names.
John Johnson.
Right?
I'm with
These
Tamara.
aren't
I
real
think you're
people.
making it all up.
See,
I don't think it was the OC and the
You need a
DC
real
going back
name.
and forth. I think it was a linebackers coach and maybe the offensive line coach or something that we saw John back and forth.
I think it was Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, those two, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what their know what their
And I thought
titles
Deuce
are.
Staley in particular was out of
It
line.
was too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
But
we're
like,
both
I
trying
mean,
to help each other.
In
We're-
fairness, like they may have been sort of hamming it up for the
Yeah,
camera
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit and just
I
sort
still
of
found it
playing, and it wasn't
distracting.
real.
Yeah.
But listen, if I was playing, I would be like, "What is going
If
on?"
I was
here?
coaching, I'd be
These
like,
guys
I'm
look
trying
like they
to
want
work
to kill
here.
each other.
I'm trying to work.
Well, depending on how this game goes today, we may spend a lot of time talking about other teams' coaching staffs in the postgame today. But for now, it's all Patriots, baby. Season has yet to begin, and they're in Miami to take on the Dolphins, where reports are coming in very humid, very hot. Good thing they've been down there acclimating for the last 5 days.
So, when I think of getting acclimated to somewhere, I would say like I would go to Colorado on a Tuesday to get used to that because the altitude change is very different. Like when I was living there, I probably had a headache the whole week because I wasn't used to it.
Okay.
That's different.
And in terms of like headachy stuff like that, Tamara, you're absolutely right. But the idea of getting acclimated to altitude
In 5 days.
in 5 days has been blown up.
Right.
And I remember this for the Mexico City game when it was somebody, I think, who locally, maybe the Globe did a story on it, like, spoke with a physician at Harvard. And it's like, you can't get acclimated to altitude in 5 days.
No, it's going to take you a month.
The headache thing, absolutely. You kind of get used to that. But in terms of like having enough lungs and legs to get through a game,
while.
no, it's like weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks.
And I think that there's some of that. Like, look, it doesn't have to decide the game. It's pretty hot, but I don't think that you are now like more prepared because you were there for 5 days.
And
for 102 feel like temperature, which is everybody's reporting.
Which
But I also will say
hot and
this
humid.
week has been strangely cool outside. Like it's been not as warm as it was during training camp.
You're talking about here?
Yeah, here.
Except for the last 3 days. Like they could have had it was like
Yesterday
85
Yeah.
on Friday and Saturday and like humid. Like yesterday was really hot.
Well, what was it? Tuesday was a high of 60.
Yeah,
here,
it was cooler
It was
earlier in the week,
crazy.
but I think they could have. I think they could have practiced. Probably not in the same conditions as Miami. I mean, let's face it. Miami's like soup. It's so humid. Like it's not the same here. Even when we have high humidity, it's not like that sort of same tropical kind of thing that you have in South Florida. But it was pretty hot, and I just think it was kind of an odd thing to do.
You like soup?
Soup?
Yeah.
I like a good soup every once in a while. Yeah, like a plain. Doesn't need to be anything special. Like I don't need my cream of asparagus or anything like that. Give me a good chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, I'm very much a chicken noodle
Minestrone?
soup person.
Chicken noodle soup you like? Could anything be better on like a really cold winter day when you go out to shovel and your wife prepares you some chicken noodle soup when you come back in.
Yes.
And then you say,
Yes.
this is great, hon.
I
Next
can
time,
think
why
of-
don't you come out and do a little something for the effort and help me out?
I can think of. Excuse me. I can think of.
I've also things that have never been said in the Perillo household. Correct. You got that.
I can think of 19 things I would enjoy more than a cup of soup when I get done shoveling. How about a sandwich? How about a pizza?
Yeah, I go with the Sangi.
Oh yeah.
After I get finished, the Sangi is always
Chili,
high on the
something
list.
thick.
You know what it is? It's Italian men of a certain age. Oh my God, do they love a cup? You should see Maz walking in the middle of July before he goes on the air. He's got a cup of minestrone,
Yeah,
or
that's-
he's got a bowl of like Italian wedding soup before he goes on the air.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
just poor to
Oh,
me.
get it out.
Why don't you eat?
Get
Why
it
don't you
out.
eat some human food before you
I can't imagine eating soup.
Fajoule?
I can't imagine eating a bowl of soup in the heart of July.
No, I've never had an experience where I'm like, ooh, that was great soup.
Yeah. Do you have actual
Do we have
football
something?
news
We have the
tonight?
inactives?
I have the inactives.
Oh,
I have the inactives.
look at this.
Patriots. I've got the news. Bailey Zappi, Josh Bledsoe, Sean Wade, Pierre Strong, Anthony Jennings, and Chasen Hines.
All right, so I guess
So
Ty Montgomery is active.
is active.
There we go.
Wow.
Okay.
Didn't warm up. I mean, maybe he was out there at some point. Well, I guess we'll get a look here at warm-ups in the coming minutes, but
We'll probably get our first look at warm-ups here starting around noon, I would imagine. So
According to Stacey James' timing sheet, it's at 12:21.
12:21.
Allegedly.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. It's going to be a minute.
Yes, it says full team warm-ups begin at 12:21 p.m.
Wow.
so that is a little disappointing with Anthony Jennings. You know, it's but more focus now on Uche a little bit. I mean, DeMarcus Mitchell. I guess because he plays special teams, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's you have basically two outside linebackers if you don't want to count DeMarcus Mitchell. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, a lot of safeties. I think there's going to be a lot of safeties out there.
All right. We're going to digest some of that and digest some delicious soup that we have here. And we're going to talk with Christian and Christopher and Tony. All you guys just hold on for a very, very brief moment. We're going to step aside. We want to thank Dom's. Dom's is now the official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Dominate the grill this season. Get it, Dom's? Dominate the grill
well
this
done.
season with a tailgate box subscription. This is a great idea. Go to domsausage.com to choose your plan and get your curated box filled with quality meats delivered to your doorstep, ready to grill for the game. You will be the MVP of the tailgate season.
TouchView Interactive is here to support your hybrid learning, distance learning, and video conferencing needs with easy-to-use tools that allow end users to collaborate, interact, and present seamlessly. TouchView Interactive offers a comprehensive line of accessories and software to support your audio-visual needs. Outfit your classrooms and presentation spaces with the future of interactive display technology. Visit touchview.com for more info. Offered by the Oakers Company, celebrating 100 years of service and support.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Johnny, you funny.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Email that is in the same vein saying, hello, fake Hardy, Paul, and Mike.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
I had somebody going around Las Vegas saying they were me one time. It was an actual fake Hardy. Like I was a nighttime DJ in a rock station, and some poor soul thought that he could get something from somebody by saying he was Hardy from Extreme Radio. And as far as I know, the only thing he ever got was a free dessert at a TGI Fridays, and he tried to get a bank loan by saying he worked for the radio station, and they called to confirm. I'm like, you're in Las Vegas. Say you're Steve Wynn's son. You know, come up with something that's as high as you dare dream. Oh, I'm the night guy on the alternative rock station. Perhaps you've heard of me. And I'm sure most people say, no, I've never heard of you.
I think it would work.
Got him nothing.
It would work. It would work at any local golf course here in Massachusetts. So I think here we waltz right in. You'd be going right to the front of the line.
Well,
you know?
it might let you off. It might let you tee off on 10 if number 1 tee box is backed up a little bit.
Let you move in.
Yeah. Are you big on that?
Yeah.
You like going off the back?
I got a chance to do it last weekend, and it was great. You know, whenever I'm given the opportunity.
We always think about that. Like, next time we should try to play the back nine.
Does that screw you up as like a serious golfer that like you feel like you don't care?
I'm not a serious golfer, and the only thing
don't believe it.
No. The only thing that really bothers me is if someone is making the turn and they're flying, they're having like, oh no, there's a 2-hole gap. If I go out there and I'm with like 2 other guys, and they catch us, then I feel like a jerk. I'm screwing up somebody's chance at having a sub 3 hour 18-hole round because somebody let us tee off on 10.
But do you feel like you're missing out? Like the golf course was designed to be played 1 to 18 in some way. Like is that any
It doesn't
truth to
bother
that?
the LIV guys. They're playing a shotgun start for a $4 million first prize.
I
Doesn't
can't
bother those
believe you
idiots.
did this.
Hey, I want to talk to Christopher in Turkey. Have we?
Ooh.
I don't know that I've ever taken a call from
I
Turkey
wonder
before.
what time it is over there.
On the Patriots Pregame Show. Let's find out. Tamara wants to know what time is it in Turkey, Christopher. Let me guess. Hold on. Let me guess. I'm gonna say it is noon on Tuesday.
That's too far. You're too far into the future.
6:40 p.m.
It's 6:40 p.m. where I'm at right now. So the game comes on for me at 8 p.m.
That's
How
not
about
too
that?
bad.
Yeah.
Tamara, you impressed a little bit?
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Usually the games come on at 3:30 a.m.
Ooh.
Like when they're played late, like 3 p.m. games, 4 p.m. games. They come on at about 8 p.m. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So I don't watch any of them. I have to watch the highlights.
Christopher, you do not sound like a native of Turkey. Am I right on that?
Doesn't sound Turkish.
No, sir, I'm not. I'm actually from Tennessee. Well, I was raised in Maine, but I'm from Tennessee. But I'm in the United States Air Force. I'm stationed over here.
Well, thank you for doing that, Christopher. Thank you for your service. I'm glad you called us. What do you got on the game today?
So I actually bet a couple of my buddies because the guy that I work with, he's a division rival. He's a Dolphins fan. So I bet him $100 on the game. And I was just going to see what you guys' take was on, because I know this offseason we've dropped a lot of our secondary. So I was going to see what your guys' take was on that.
You bet $100 on what exactly? What's the action? What's the bet?
Patriots beating the Dolphins.
So you got him on the money line?
Yes, sir.
You're not getting any points?
Well, we're doing a fantasy league, so we're doing that too. But
Okay. All right. Well, I hope they're paying well in the Air Force. I don't love the bet. I don't love the bet for you. I mean, honestly, it's week 1. We're sitting here talking about it. We don't know what's going to transpire. Number one, first and foremost, with the Patriots offense. So much back and forth, so much talk of this new offense, but then you see more than glimpses. You see a lot of what the old offense looked like, and then every once in a while they'll get in one of these stretch runs. And I identified one watching the Raiders game. I'm like, oh, there's the new offense. And I was listening to Sosi and Zolak's call, and Zoe said, "Yep, there you go. There, now we're seeing it."
I know. Mac Jones has done a lot this offseason. I've been keeping up with it and everything. But I know he called all of his receivers in, and they said that he practiced with them throughout the whole winter when they didn't even have to. Came in like on their own time, and I feel like just putting in extra time is going to be a big success in this offense this year.
Yeah, if they knew what offense they were going to run. Look, Christopher, I hope you win your bet, and thank you for checking in. Thank you again for your service, Christopher.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, sir.
Good luck. I wouldn't touch this game today, one way or the other. If you ask me, do you want to bet on the Patriots Dolphins game? Nope.
Oh.
Because the only thing that would surprise me, we talked about this, it seems like a number of times last year, the only thing that would surprise us in certain matchups would be a blowout either way. That's what would surprise me today. I don't think either team gets blown out today, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Patriots win by a touchdown. I'm not going to be surprised if they lose by a touchdown. I think it has that either way kind of feel to it.
Week 1 divisional games, those feel just so uncertain. I mean, unless it's like a clear mismatch, I don't know how you could touch these Week 1 games knowing not much going into them.
In sharp parlance, I wouldn't touch this.
That is the parlance, isn't it?
Well, you want some other gambling parlance? I have no opinion on this game. I don't. I really don't have it. Now, I will be forced into an opinion by the end of the show today, but it's so hard to take a look at what's going to happen, predict what's going to happen when we've seen so little from camp. Tamara, you said it earlier. Like, we've barely seen the starters.
We've barely seen the starters. We know nothing.
But do you think that's going to lead to overreaction because we don't know, and so whatever we get right now, we're going to take as the end-all, be-all, this is who they are kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what we do.
This is the indictment of everything that happened this summer is this one performance.
It's 100% what we do here,
but
yes.
I will say the one thing that we did see was there was new speed. I feel like better speed this year. I think that obviously with Tyquan Thornton, he's fast. Not playing. But I think Mac Wilson and Raekwon McMillan, they give a different type of speed to the defense.
No,
and
they
so
are.
I think
Those two guys.
that's helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it the last time you were here. It's the one thing that I kept asking for watching the Patriots last year and even the year before. You know, the Cam Newton was special in his own regard, going back maybe 7 years ago, especially. But for all the things that he could do and for all the weapons that he still possessed, speed wasn't one of them. And you look at other teams and you're like, God, they're just so fast. You know, you watch the Buffalo Kansas City playoff game. It's like that game is just so fast. And the fact that the Patriots did get speedier in some positions, I think, is a great sign toward, you know, hopefully improving and being able to hang in some of these games where maybe you don't necessarily want to give much of a chance. If they got faster in a few key areas, great. That's a big step.
Yeah, for me, the big takeaway from Buffalo wasn't even like the speed, but just how self-confident they were in what they were doing in their offense. And I think that's something for the Patriots to probably try to grow to. I don't know if they're going to jump right in and obviously look like that. But, you know, I think that's what they're shooting for. Everybody's on the same page. You believe in what you're doing. You know, it's not even a question of your players being fast. It's just playing fast, knowing where to be, knowing, you know, Josh Allen has complete control of that offense. I hope that, you know, Mac can get to the point within this offense that, you know, he looks similarly comfortable and, you know, just in control.
Do you feel good that Mac was getting together with the receivers in the offseason, Paul?
I don't think it's a bad thing. Right? I mean, the more you can work with the guys that you're going to be throwing to, I think that's a better thing. I think we overrate some of that stuff, but I don't think it can hurt to have, you know, like when Tom used to, you know, throw the ball to Edelman and Amendola, the problem there was, and what I like better about what Mac has done is Mac has included everybody. And it wasn't, you know, invitation only, you know, back in the days of Tom. But, I do think that some of the speed additions, unfortunately, we're not going to get to see a few of them. You know, there's no Thornton, he's on IR. There's no Strong, he's inactive. You know, you'll get a chance to see Marcus Jones, and maybe we'll get a chance to see him as a returner. So that's one of those speed guys that we added to the roster. So, yeah, I'm happier that the linebacker core looks to be a little bit more athletic and mobile, but I'm still waiting to see if that means they're better.
Yeah, one more thing to point out too. I think with you know, with the Dolphins inactives being out, we talked about Byron Jones, Noah Igbenogany, I think, is out. Eric Rowe, more of a safety now, but still, I think that's an area to watch for the Patriots where they're missing some of their defensive backs. Can we get a matchup, you know, for guys like Aguilar, get him matched up on one of these, you know, Keon Crossan, a former Patriot who's kind of kicked around a little bit. You know, that if you're talking about places maybe where the Patriots can exploit them, maybe in some of those cornerback matchups, but I think it comes down to, back to Tamara's point of the offensive line, the protection, and giving Mac the time to hit those guys, especially without Jacoby Myers, who I think is, you know, they might not have those quick guys in short spaces that are tough to cover, but Jacoby's a real good, you know, third down, got to have it, knows where the holes are in the zones, able to find, you know, when he's the hot read on the blitzes to find and give Mac an outlet. Who does that now? You know, are they able to get the ball out quick when the pressure's coming? Because as you said, I think Hardy at the top, they're going to blitz them. They're going to blitz them a lot. So they got to be ready to handle that. And, you know, guys like Wynn, Cole Strange, they got to be ready to protect Mac and give him the time.
Hopefully we'll see Bourne bless us with his presence today in the game.
Well, that's great. Another great guy who, you know, might be matched up on a corner who's like an undrafted rookie, you know. So it's like these are the things that, you know, this offense, it looks a lot the same as to what they had last year going into this game due to injuries and whatnot. But, you know, that's where you have to excel. You got to beat these guys. They're going to play man-to-man probably. So, you know, if you're telling me that Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, you know, can't shake loose from guys like Keon Cross, and you know, like they should be able to. They should be able to shake this coverage and you know, help keep the offense on time.
All right, let's go to Christian in L.A. here on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Christian, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Sunday to you. And yes, here we is, and here we are.
We made it.
Have you guys ever woke up with that feeling that something just wasn't right?
Oh, God.
I kind of woke up with that today, and I'm hoping that's not a bad sign.
That's the feeling I woke up with today.
First of all, it's so early in L.A. right now.
It is, and that's the good part for us. We get to wake up, and we get to get tortured by an additional 3 hours of
I miss it. I miss it so much. Those 10 a.m. starts were the best out there.
Right. So, but thankfully, you guys, your steadfastness and your presence is calming me and putting me at as much ease as is possible in this circumstance. And I just wanted to add that my score today is 20-17 Patriots with some late linebacker blitzing play on the Dolphins' last drive. Is that specific or what?
That's very specific.
I was going to say a very specific prediction, Christian.
Better than Patty. Patty's predicting like it's going to go the other way, and we're going to have the late game meltdown. But
Right.
I like this one better.
Okay. Hey, Christian, thanks for the call. Enjoy your breakfast. There we go. Tamara, very concerned with what time it is in different places, whether it's Turkey or Los Angeles. But it shows a great deal of empathy on your part. You want to, what is this caller feeling right now in terms of what time it is where they are?
Oh, just wait.
That's a dedicated fan. He's waking up and calling into the show. It's 8 a.m.
Dude,
like
it's 8 a.m. What time do you
let
sleep till?
Let me tell you something. I'm not saying he's not dedicated. However, what he's got going there, I can hear it in his voice. It is that first cup of coffee fake energy that we all get.
Yeah.
Like,
False bravado
do you ever feel more confident and sure of yourself than 30 minutes after your first cup of coffee on a weekday morning? Oh. I'm ready to take on the world. I am going to do so much today.
Then like an hour later.
Yeah, catch me at like 7:05 a.m. after that first cup has kicked in for the day. Ready to take on the world.
Especially like week one. I mean, who's up and at 'em at this time? And yeah, I love those West. That was the best.
That's
West
what we're
Coast
hearing there. That's all that is. He's gonna
just wait till the night games though. I mean, we get people calling in.
No.
Preseason. Or sorry, like Sunday night football, 8:15 here, and it's like it's 2 a.m. right now. Like, God bless those people.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be me.
Tony in Canada. I don't know where in Canada you are, Tony, but I think I've asked you before. Are you in Edmonton?
Yes, sir, I am.
I remember. There we go. Tony, thanks for calling. What's up, buddy?
A lot of things about the first game, a lot of unknowns, but I guess, and how there's been a lot about who is our play caller this year. I'm wondering, and also the wide zone offense and how we've been having troubles in the preseason. What sort of offensive scheme do you think we're going to run with, especially in this game? And if it doesn't work out, will they have enough time to transition and make it more into something successful? I know Mac ran they said the 2-minute drill and spread offense, and that seems to work really well. Do you think whatever scheme they go with, what scheme do you think it will be? And if it's not successful, will they be able to pivot into some other scheme? That's kind of what I'm interested in hearing from you guys.
All right, Deuce, I'll let you take this first because I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think that's when Mac looks the most comfortable was, in the spread. And, the last two sessions against the Raiders when they kind of went pseudo-competitive and all the ones versus ones and the clock's running, the down and distance is going. They were able to move the ball and score, both times to finish those two joint practices against the Raiders. So that's where they looked the smoothest. I'm sure they're probably going to give it the old college try with the wide zone today, but I don't think it's going to be exclusively that. I think they'll mix it up. They'll have, a different mix of runs that they try, certainly with, getting Trent Brown out in space. I think he's like a, big freight train coming down. So, I think it'll be a little mix of everything, but I don't think that they're going to try to do things today to prove a point. I think they spent the last week and a half since that Raiders game keying in on what they're good at, what they feel comfortable with. I'm sure there will still be, some times where they're trying to maybe do something a little bit outside of their comfort zone. But I expect today they're going to try to play to their strengths, and I hope that they, have those strengths to play to and that they're able to perform against the Dolphins. But, it's no question. It was inconsistent this summer, and they got to find some of that consistency today if they're going to win.
Tony, I think if I understand your question correctly, are they going to be able to transition mid-game? And I would say no. I would say whatever they have planned offensively for the game today, there will be adjustments, but whatever they're doing scheme-wise, whatever they're doing offensive-wise, what they're rolling into today with, you're going to have for today, and I would guess you're going to have for next week and maybe even a third week. If it's not working, if the stretch runs are not working, if Bill Belichick is seeing what he hates more than anything on offense, which is a negative run play, and they have multiples going on, they're going to have to try something else. But I don't think they can conceivably do that until they've given this a couple of weeks to see how it's going to work and if they can develop something out of this. This is obviously what they want to do. If it goes south today, it's going to stay south. No pun intended, as they get ready to face the Dolphins in Miami. But I think if it goes poorly today, it's going to go poorly today, and there's not going to be a whole lot they can do about it mid-game.
I just don't think there's any going back. Like, this is such a question that I hear get asked all the time of, like, well, they're just going to scrap it and do what? Go like bring Josh McDaniels back and try to like reinstall the old offense? Like, they're sticking with it. Like, they're not going to like, all of a sudden just revert to what they had previously done. It's going to be some form of this going forward. And I mean, look, we can. Again, like I've said this 100 times. Like, you can talk about the method that you did it, and that you're having coaches that haven't coached on offense, and that I think is a valid criticism. But at the same time, I think you don't have Josh McDaniels, you don't have Mick Lombardi, you don't even really have Ivan Fears, even though he's been around. So you had to do something at some point to shift away, to install an offense that you know what you're doing. And I think only really Josh could install that offense. And I mean, I would almost make the argument that maybe last year was the time, if you could have convinced Josh to do it, to unhook all the Brady stuff and everything that had been grown over the last 20 years to, build an offense around Mac. That's what this should all be about. So we'll see how the results look today. I'm trying not to get too far ahead of myself. It didn't look good this summer, but I understand the philosophy of why they did, and I don't think that there's any going back to the old way of doing it. They are where they are. There'll be subtle shifts within what they're doing now, and they'll try to lean towards certain strengths, but they're not going to go back to the old offense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what how much they would be able to change, because that has been the focus of some debate. I remember Ted Johnson said it earlier on when he was on with us on the Sports Hub. He's like, no, you don't go back from this. Once you go down this road, that's it. But we've already seen enough, I think, Tamara, in the preseason and in camp where it's like, well, this isn't all brand new. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing and some of the stuff that we're seeing from the offensive line, it's not like it's not like they're playing a completely different sport or a completely retooled offense. There's enough of the old elements there to think that, all right, maybe they can dial back some of the things that are the most different that aren't working and install a few of the older things that somehow jibe with the new offense, and they can tweak it enough to where it becomes a workable offense. I don't think it's a hard and fast, nope, this is what they're doing, and they have to put the pedal in the metal and just go 17 games and see how it does. And I don't think they have to scrap it and blow it up and, like you said, try and find a replacement Josh McDaniels to bring in. There has to be some middle ground.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of trial and error between looking at, what Mac Jones and company are really good at, what their strengths are, and playing to those. Because if you just try to just completely scrap everything that he was doing with McDaniels.
Yeah, would you waste the whole summer?
Yeah, that just wastes everything. And so I think that it's going to be like playing to his strengths, the receivers, the guys around him's strengths. Maybe try a few things that are new, and if they don't work, then you might just scrap those and stick with what works. But I don't think it's going to be completely new.
No, and I think it's always a process of finding what you are and what you do well, and finding the identity that they always talk about. But I think just a big key for me is I think if they could get the run game going, whatever form that is, if it's wide zone run, if it's gap runs, whatever style of running game they try to attempt right now, being able to move the ball on the ground, I think, would be a huge first key.
I think I'm interested in seeing how Johnny was used this game.
They mess with him a little bit, move him around a little bit. Sure.
Yeah, because we saw some different looks with him at camp. In the same way we saw little Jordan Humphrey being moved around, and so I'm thinking that maybe we'll see more with Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, or even just more two tight ends. I mean, I think last year we kind of expected with those two guys being signed that there'd be a lot of that, but I mean they're the only two tight ends on the active roster right now, so maybe there's more two tight ends, maybe not though.
Murray and Matt, you want to grab a couple of calls before over-unders? You want to do? All right, let's do that. Let's go to Alan in Texas. Alan, thanks for joining us here on the Patriots Pregame Social, fueled by Dunkin. What's up?
Hey, y'all. I just wanted to say, first of all, it's great listening to the show, and I'm really excited about the start of the season. I know the Patriots, they're growing right now. They got a long way to go, I think, but I still love getting together. We got 10 of us watching the game today. I already got the grill fired up. I'm making buffalo wings and beef teriyaki.
I'm on my way.
We're just going to hang around and just enjoy the day. And I'm going to enjoy the process of this team growing together. And just, it brings us all together. I'm so happy for football starting again.
Well, I appreciate it, Alan. And, yes, you're making us all very jealous at the idea of having a grill going. And Wings. I could do without the teriyaki, but the wings on the grill, that's a.
You're missing out
great
today,
move.
Hardy. They're giving out Dan Campbell bobbleheads at the Lions game, so we'll see if we can effort one of those for
Speaking
you.
of missing out, Jim McBride tweeted a picture of a fan in a hamburger Mac Jones jersey.
Yeah, what does that mean? Is that derogatory? Are they trying to make fun of Mac?
What is
It is like a jersey that looks like a hamburger, and it says Mac Jones on the back. It is very. I've never seen anything like
I
it.
feel like they're making fun of us.
Well,
Cool story, Hansel.
Well, in keeping with my long-standing tradition of hating what I don't understand, I hate it. I don't get it. I don't like it. I want to dismiss it and get rid of it.
To be fair, one of the things that Mac Jones did work on in the offseason, other than, his connection with his receivers and tight ends, is
not eating cheeseburgers?
Not eating cheeseburgers.
Oh, maybe has something.
And ice cream every night.
And ice cream,
I will
That's
go without
me.
the Dan Campbell bobblehead. Do you know what I got sent
Look
in
at
the mail?
this, Paul.
Unsolicited last week. It showed up at my home.
It's a hamburger.
Detroit Lions mini helmet
that's
autographed by Billy Sims.
Oh, I love Billy Sims.
I loved
Billy Sims. What did he do?
was wrong?
Paul just gave me
The
an
hell was wrong
angry
with you?
look. That was an angry
Before
look.
you know what? Before his time.
He's a little younger than me.
All right, thank you.
Before your time, Billy Sims was the man. when I
Late
was growing up
70s,
in
early
Detroit.
80s,
Yes.
like
for the
really
Lions.
good running back.
Yes.
Really good, like really underrated running back.
Like Barry Sanders, or
Well, I mean, let's not
No.
get mentally irregular.
One of the first.
I like that.
One of the first guys I ever saw to go over the top and flip over the pile.
Yeah,
Billy
he was
Sims.
a good player.
Yeah,
he was-
Oklahoma.
Oh
All
my
right,
God!
place of honor in the Hardy keepsakes and memorabilia section of the house.
He was. I tell you, my first two sports celebrities that I remember and just was in love with, Billy Sims and Mark Fidrich, who was a Massachusetts guy. Mark the Bird Fidrich.
You don't know who Mark Fidrich is either?
Wow. Pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. He was fantastic. They called him Big Bird.
The Bird.
Used to.
The bird.
Yeah.
The finger.
He used to sprint out to the mound. Do you remember that, Paul?
Oh, remember he used to clean off the mound with his
He
hand.
would talk to the ball.
He was bizarre.
Yeah, it was great.
He was like a Western Mass guy too.
Died tragically in Western Mass.
Oh,
Yeah.
Berkshires.
I'm not sure where, but that's
all I know.
not a great story. Rest in peace. That's so unnecessary and inappropriate, Matt. How dare you? Nick Baby Love, what's going on, Nick? Wouldn't be a start of a new football season without a check-in from Nick. You going to the game today, Nick?
I'm on my way. My doctor's taking me. Can you believe it?
Wow, that's a good doctor.
Hey, you got to be tight with your medical people. So, is this actually my man Hardy?
It is.
Yeah, hey, God bless you. I text back and forth with Fred, and I'm just happy you're back, brother. Much love to you. And I have to plug one thing, but I just want to say hello to Paul. Much love. I'll text you, Paul.
All right, sounds good, baby.
The book, the Bagman's coming out, and the book, you know what I mean, with the new edition and all that. And then, I want to say hello. Obviously the game's a toss-up, but let me get my stuff in, Hardy. I want to say something to D-Train, to Mr. Holy Cross, my honorary godfather Togo Palazzi, and there's a guy Jack Deshad Foley. The book is top 10 in the world now, from my buddy Mark Epstein, who's doing my book. So it's a great read. It's out of Worcester, Mass, and I'm going to try to send a couple up there to the stadium for you guys. You know what I mean?
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks,
And
Nick.
so, I'm a class guy. So the only other thing left is, who's the young lady there? I need to be introduced.
This is Tamara Brown. This is Nick Baby Love, who is a longtime, passionate Patriots fan and listener to all of our shows. Nick, I want you to give a nice welcome to Tamara.
Tamara.
Hi.
In the house, baby. I'm telling you, I wouldn't even mention you unless you sounded great. And, like I said, God bless you and everybody. I love you guys. And all I can say is, they're rebuilding, but I'm still going to say Go Patriots. And what's my final thing, Hardy? Go Tom Brady today.
Oh, there you go. All right, Nick.
Good to hear from you, Nick.
Yeah.
So, Tamara, just to let you know, Nick has had a good amount of health problems recently. He's fighting like any Patriots fan would. He's been fighting it for several years. Good news that he's going to the game today.
I love that.
It's a good sign for the Pats. He's
His
there in
doctor's
person.
Also, he is a great doctor. To go with him to a game, that's awesome.
He was here in studio with us several years ago now. It was like Christmas Day for him. He was so excited to be here in the studio with Fred. And Fred's been great to him over the years, too. And then he's originally from the Worcester area, so we bond over like early 80s, Boston Boston boy bands. The new we have great new edition talks.
Oh my God, the stories from Nick. Well, enjoy the game today. We're going to step aside here. We're going to come, or no, we're going to do the over/unders. I'm sorry. Why would I think we're going to take a break? We've only been on for an hour and 20 minutes. We've already had a 45-second break. Why would we take another one? Over/unders. Let's do it.
It's time for this week's edition of Over/Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
So I missed the final preseason game, but I did put in my over/unders for the game. How did we end up in that final preseason contest?
Paul 4-2, Mike 3-3, Hardy 2-4. That was last week's totals.
But now we blow these up and we do a regular season. We start from scratch,
Yeah,
right?
these were just your warm-up. This was your preseason.
Okay, all right. So I finished at 10-8 in the preseason, as did Mike. But Paul just running away with the preseason.
Feel for the preseason.
Paul had a 6-0 week.
Doesn't mean anything though. You know that, right?
15-3. Holy crap! All right, let's get to them. Here we go.
Mac Jones passing yards 230.5.
Deuce, you will start us off.
All right, I'm going to start us off with some unbridled positivity. I'm going to go over.
I'm going to take the over as well. It's not necessarily for positive reasons. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. He's going to throw for over 230 yards.
Well, I'm a sport, so I'm going to go under for no other reason than both those guys went over. I'm going to go under.
Tamara, would you like to take part in the over-unders?
I'm just here.
Okay.
Someone get fined.
Marshawn Lynch checking in, just
Here
here so
someone
as
get
not to
fined.
get fined. Okay, moving along.
Hunter Henry touchdowns at a half.
Ooh.
Oh, Paul, you lead us off here.
I'm going to take the under. I don't know why I have to specifically say one guy's going to score a touchdown. I won't stand for it.
You don't have to do anything.
Refuse.
But it's going to be fun. Would you like to abstain?
No, I took the under.
We could have one abstain each week.
No.
I abstain.
No, I reject that premise.
You see, I think if they are going to score, I mean, why wouldn't you go with Hunter Henry? Why wouldn't you go with the guy that was, responsible
Why not
for
with
as many
Damian
touchdowns
Harris,
last
who
year?
had 15 touchdowns
I would go with
last
Damian
year?
Harris.
To me, this is an easy one. It's over.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm going over too.
Yeah, see? Deuce and I know what we're talking about.
Right.
And speaking of Damian Harris rushing yards at 49.5. Hey.
I have more confidence in the run game than I think Paul does. I don't know about Deuce, but I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over too on Harris. I think I hope that he's ready to go and has a nice game.
Yeah, make it unanimous. I think 50 yards is not asking too much. Over.
Wow, that one could argue that does go in opposition to what you said about the Mac Jones passing yards there.
50 yards?
I'm just saying.
Wow. Okay.
Tua Tagovailoa completions 21.5.
Ooh.
Back to you, Deuce.
Yeah, that's a good number.
That's an excellent number.
It's
Who
very
set these
efficient.
totals?
Actually, it was me this week.
Oh, you did a great job.
Well, and I'll give you a little.
Chime in.
Background
stats.
here.
Paul won't be the last time.
So here's Tua's completions in the 3 wins. He's 3-0. Much is made about the 3-0 record, right? He was 20 for 26. He was 16 for 27. He was 15 for 22. So if you bet the under of 21.5, you would have won all 3 times.
He's got some new weapons, though. I think I'm going to go over on this one.
Wow.
I will take the under.
I'm going with Paul. I'm going under.
Tyreek Hill receptions at 6.5.
Paul Perillo.
I will take the over on that. I think they're going to look to get the ball to him, not necessarily bombing away, but I think they're going to try to get the ball in his hands on some quick screens and maybe some slants. I think I'm going to say over.
Yeah, I don't think it's out of the question to think that maybe Tyreek has 8 catches on 12 targets or something like that. Does that sound about right?
Maybe.
That's a lot of targets, though.
It is. It is a lot. What are you going to do?
I'm going to go over.
Crazy. I'm going to spin the dial, and I'm going to say under.
So far, Deuce is playing the role of Dan Lipschatz. I'm going to bet everything.
Over on the completions,
I'm going to bet everything with my heart.
It's week 1. What more do we have in week 1? Our head doesn't know anything yet.
And finally, the total score of 45.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go under 2 on this one.
Well,
yes.
You've already made a score prediction, so all you have to do is
that in your head, right?
add up the score.
I forgot about that.
And then just go.
No, under's right.
Accordingly.
Right. Yep.
Well, some of us are not that smart, so they have to look up and do the math in their head. So I will take the under also.
We're all going under on 45.5. All right, there it is. All right, over/under's underway for this new regular season here as the Patriots get ready to visit the Dolphins. According to Tamara, the warm-ups will begin in 11 minutes.
They will, so I'm going to teleport to the control room.
Okay, Tamara, thank you so much. Always good to see you. And we're gonna step aside here. We're gonna do that right now. Stay with us, though. It's not like we're going to be gone for very long. We want to thank Bridgestone, official tire of the New England Patriots, proud to partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you.
TouchView Interactive is here to support your hybrid learning, distance learning, and video conferencing needs with easy-to-use tools that allow end users to collaborate, interact, and present seamlessly. TouchView Interactive offers a comprehensive line of accessories and software to support your audio-visual needs. Outfit your classrooms and presentation spaces with the future of interactive display technology. Visit touchview.com for more info. Offered by the Oakers Company, celebrating 100 years of service and support.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I mean, we all owe Manti Te'o an apology. I don't owe Manti Te'o anything. I don't owe him an apology. He didn't have to do those interviews.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Arcand is angry.
It's an angry elf.
He really.
He was irrationally angry about Manti Te'o.
I was like, why are we mad at him?
Did you watch the Manti Te'o thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't get angry.
I did. I didn't get angry. Well, I didn't get angry at him.
I watched about 10 minutes of it. Believe it or not, I kind of got bored.
I do believe
I thought it was
I
the
do believe
classic documentary that didn't need 2 parts.
I didn't even watch the second part.
Well, then you didn't watch it.
Okay. Well, how much did you watch of it?
10 minutes, I told you.
All right,
I
so
tapped out.
I made it to 50. I tapped
Yeah,
out.
I thought it was good, but I agree with you guys. It was too long, and I did kind of get bored.
Yeah, I got the gist of it.
Yeah,
he got catfished.
But I'm bum. You know what? I started going back.
Thank you for watching.
I finally started wrapping up Peaky Blinders.
Oh,
The last season's been out forever.
Is that really good?
Oh my god,
Fred likes it
Yeah,
too.
a lot of people like it.
It's so good, and I would say season 1, True Detective, is the best 8 hours of television you'll ever watch in your life.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Oh, you should watch that, Paul. You'd like that.
I never
Yeah,
saw
Tamara
it.
would like it too.
Never
I would
saw
say
Billy Bear.
the entire series run of Peaky Blinders is right up there. I mean, it needs to be watched. If you're a fan of things, got to have the subtitles
I like
on though.
things.
Oh yeah, a lot of English.
It's the accents.
Hard.
You can't even. I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. I gotta have the subtitles on. All right, ready? You want to go back to the phones?
Oh, we got our first looky-loo.
There we go.
There we are.
Full blue. Full blue.
A lot of sun.
A lot of sun.
lot of sun out there.
It's got to be hot.
Mac Jones looking tremendous. Oh, is that my guy?
Yeah, I guy. Who, Hoyer? Which
No,
was your guy?
I was looking for Devontae Parker. I thought we just
oh.
saw him briefly. Yeah, so the blue in the South Florida Heat, no surprise there. The Patriots wearing blue, despite the fact that they're on the road. Miami often wears white in home games, especially early in the season. During the day. That's not an insignificant factor, by the way.
No, and plus, I mean,
What?
if you really want to deep dive, they used to have gray pants too with the blue jerseys.
What's
Now
not
They're always wearing. Miami chooses to make the other team wear their dark color on the road.
I think it's a psychological thing, though. Again, as long as we're blowing up scientific premises here, the idea of acclimating to altitude, the color of your shirt does not significantly change how hot you feel. It's nonsense.
Okay,
It
is that I'm
Nonsense.
going to take your word for it
I
because
I like it though. That's the attitude.
I've
you gotta
always
have.
been told that it
Doesn't
does.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The darker color in the sun doesn't.
Nope.
No, my favorite
doesn't
thing
retain more heat.
No, they've studied it. It's
Okay,
like it doesn't
no,
make it,
I'm gonna
it doesn't
take your
make a
word for
difference. Psychologically, it might make you.
Oh
think
yeah,
that.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are psychological.
Yeah, but no.
My favorite is when the Patriots wear their white uniforms at home just to make the Cowboys have to wear their blue uniforms. Like they've done that a couple times. Like
well, they wore the
team,
gray. They wore the dirty gray ones one year. I remember that. Or the silver jerseys, whatever they wanted to call them. But yeah, it does look pretty bright there in Miami. What is it now? Hard Rock Stadium?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still Joe Robbie to me. You know what I'm saying, Hardy?
I do.
What did you say? Like a lot of things that you don't understand.
I hate what I don't understand.
There's Devontae Parker, which is going to bring me. I was looking for Devontae Parker for a specific reason, Hardy. You know why? Because we have a new feature in our pregame show that we're going to be doing every week, and Devontae Parker is part of that. It's today's key data point presented by Demand Science. Devontae Parker, Deuce, right? What do we know about Devontae Parker? Used to be on Miami, right?
That's right.
2015 first-round pick, spent 7 seasons in Miami. I bet you're wondering, Hardy, how Parker has fared over the years against the Patriots. Well, I'm here to tell you.
Tell me.
I'm here to tell you. He's played 12 games against New England. He has 42 career receptions for 597 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He's had, as Mike and I looked this up during the course of the week, he's had some really good games, and he's had some really bad games. He's been over 100 yards 3 times. He's been under 12 yards 4 times or something along those lines. But Parker, a little bit up and down. I think he's going to be a key element today in the passing game. I think he'll be a guy that they'll probably give a couple of opportunities to. Maybe they get him a looky-loo in the red zone. But that, anyway, is today's key data point presented by Demand Science.
Went with data, not data.
Wow.
Data.
Well, you guys told me I needed to say data, so I even put the long A over it so I wouldn't forget.
I didn't know that I was being set up for a paid programming.
I know.
There. He just
Like a
slipped it
pro.
right in. Like
Hey, how did I do on that?
Great
Really
transition.
How did I
good.
do on that for a guy who has no professionalism to his game whatsoever?
Zero.
Zero. I thought I did all right on that. I'm not gonna lie. Thought I did okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the big takeaway from those first couple days at camp, I think, which were some of the offense's best performances of camp coming out of the gate before pads, a lot of Devontae Parker, a lot of contested catches. It seemed right from the gate that Mac has a confidence in him to put the ball up. We saw them working in that backside slant a little bit in recent games. They connected on it against the Raiders there. I think it was the first drive. So definitely a guy that they want to get involved in. And again, are they going to stick him on the outside and let him just kind of live there? And does that give them a chance to move Aguilar around a little bit today? Can they get him and Bourne lined up on maybe some of those cornerbacks down the depth chart a little bit and exploit those matchups?
All right, so we're watching warm-ups here down in Miami as the Patriots get ready to play today. I saw another view of the field from the broadcast booth. That is one thing. If you think the Patriots are unhappy about playing in this heat, it could be worse. You could be stuck in the corner of the stadium like Sosi and Zolak are. It is the worst broadcast booth, they say, in the league.
It is a tough spot,
Really?
and it's low in the corner, too. It's a comfortable press box, but it's a tough spot. And I know that the broadcast booths are close by where we used to sit.
Was the auxiliary press box better?
No, that's only for Super Bowls, Deuce, when I get kicked to the curb and I'm not even allowed to be in a press box. But,
Report back.
first-class problems where I have to watch the Super Bowl. I mean,
Let's get back to the phones here. We're going to go to Todd, North Carolina, here on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Todd, what's going on?
So, Hardy, you are correct about the dark clothes, but there's a caveat. In my environmental physiology class, they told us about Lawrence of Arabia.
Yes.
It's got to be loose. It's got to be loose clothes. If they're tight, they're worse.
Yes.
The dark colors.
Wow,
Yes.
interesting. That'd be funny. They
So
all
it's
have
gotta be
baggy
loose
shirts
clothes
and
'cause it
baggy
creates
pants.
convection. Anyway.
It's made out
my
of
key
linen.
to this game, guys,
Yeah.
is the running game. If we get 200 yards of running in this game, we win. I think that's just the way we got to do it. Keep them off the field, keep their weapons off the field, keep their defense on the field, keep ours off. I think that's the winning formula. I want to see 200 yards rushing. So anyway, great show, guys. Talk to you later. Bye now.
Wow.
If they put up 200 yards rushing, that would
Paul
be,
just
that would be
choked on a
something.
donut. Everything all right over there?
I'm going to have to agree. Patriots get 200 yards rushing, they're going to win. I'm going to go out on the limb.
Big day for Damian Harris then.
There we have Steve Belichick.
What do you
throwing
think the
ball.
winning percentage is for teams that rush for 200 yards? 92?
High-ish.
High-ish. Yeah.
I think your chances of winning are strong to quite strong.
It would be
If
remarkable.
you rush for 200 yards. I mean, you can lose. I think the Broncos lost the game to the Patriots when rushing for over 200 yards once.
I mean,
blew a 24-0 lead in the process, but
I mean, joking aside, like there were a handful of passing plays this summer that, that was a nice one. I mean, a couple, nice downfield completions, maybe not consistent, but there were those plays. Running back wise, I mean, I know it's hard to tell. Guy runs through the line. There's a little bit of contact. He keeps running like he has like a 70-yard touchdown going, but you don't know. You might have been tackled for a loss. But there was never really anything in preseason or during training camp that was like, whoa, that running lane just opened up and Stevenson and Harris would have been gone. So of everything that you're most uncertain about, I think the running game is close to the top of my list of just, are they able to be coordinated in the offensive line? Are they going to try this wide zone stuff where it's so important that everybody kind of moves together and in sync? I saw Giardi's tweet earlier today that, they had a good couple of weeks of practice and that they needed it. We'll see. I think that's the part that it's going to translate, that has to translate the quickest for me.
Let's go to Dominic in New York on the Patriots Pregame Show. Dominic, what's going on? Dominic no longer
is that the
there.
Sausage guy? The Sausage King of New York?
By the way, I did.
You're the Sausage King of Chicago?
That's right, Abe Froman. I did hear from Fred Kirsch earlier, who is in fact listening to the show. So There you go, Fred. Yeah, that's twice. I'm sure you've been very, very pleased to hear somebody who is not there.
Fred hung up on 2 guys during the show.
Yeah. Sean in Woonsocket. Hello, Sean. What's going on?
Hey, Paulie Paisan, Babyface Mike, Robbie Hardon, shout out, Fred Donuts. What up, fellas?
Right around the room.
It's quite the intro right there.
I like that.
Week 1, let's go.
Been thinking of that all summer.
It was worth it.
Baby face.
Thank you.
Pulled it off.
Hey, fellas, just 2 quick statements today. Number 1, we're winning this game, boys. Miami is no match. Overrated. They got a couple nice players, but we're going to take this game, plain and simple.
Okay.
Second prediction, I think this season, I think we're going to take a lot of people by surprise. I don't think we're ready to get back to the glory days yet, but I think another 10 wins, another wild card playoff appearance, and we're going to build on that. Within 2 to 3 years, we'll get back to where we were.
All right.
You know what? It could. I love the
Some
call,
good,
Sean.
solid positivity.
No,
There you go. We needed
seriously,
that. We needed
because
that.
it could be as simple as that. Miami, they ain't nothing. They got a couple of nice players, but still the
I don't think
Dolphins-
anybody thinks the Patriots have no chance to win this game.
No.
We're not just because most people are picking Miami, which I would agree. I think most people are picking Miami. I don't think I've sensed a lot of people saying Patriots have no shot.
No.
Both down
They got a
there
shot.
and for the season. I think people are sort of down on New England, but I don't think this is like, they got 5-6 wins tops, no chance. Miami, light years better. I haven't heard a lot of that.
No. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the start goes today, and then then you can really start to feel like you understand what they have. Because
then we have
you
to
just
take
don't know.
Deuce's shoelaces away. This number 50, by the way, Raekwon McMillan, new number.
Made the switch.
New number.
I like it.
As I'm sure none of you care about.
I care. I don't like the 40. The linebackers in the 40s, not for me.
That's too athletic. You
Get
don't want to
50.
have athletes.
Get 50.
But yeah, so I do worry about Deuce during post-game shows. But at least at 1 o'clock, I think he'll be a little bit more. He'll be thinking to himself, I could be home.
Yeah, long road, long way to go.
I could be home and I
Yeah.
can hang out, still light out a little bit early in the season.
You get home, you're home in time for the late game, so we can watch some football tonight. It'll be good.
You'll hate watch Brady.
Man, oh man.
Hey, I can't. I got a feel for Brady right now. He's going through some tough stuff. Let's go.
Is he?
I don't know.
Yeah. Do we know?
I don't care.
I thought your I thought your show was sort of reporting that was accurate, that he was going through some marital strife.
I don't know if anybody
word
was
strife.
reporting it, but
I thought so kind of lent credence to it.
Anybody not going through marital strife?
I'm not.
I just have to
I
say.
beg your pardon. I mean, Beth might have a different answer to that question than I do, but
Exactly. The fact that you don't even know is the biggest problem in your marriage.
I mean, I've been married for about 15 years now. I just wonder how that conversation went when Brady retired and Giselle, finally felt like, hey, we're going to get this guy back. And then he changed his mind. What was that conversation like? Actually, Giselle, I think I might
Play this game long enough, and happens.
Yeah.
That's right.
Biggest source of marital strife right now is I desperately want the dog to sleep in the bed with us. I am ready for us to take that step. And we tried it a couple of nights ago, and it was fine. She's back in the crate last night. I'm like, this is going to be a real problem for the three of us going forward.
You're just going to get rid of your wife and move with the dog. You guys could get your own bed, maybe.
Whenever my wife is away for the night, the dog sleeps with me, and we have a wonderful time. We do. We cuddle.
Are you guys going to go to single beds with your spouse at some point? I know that was like an old people thing when I was little. Like it was always like grandma and grandpa always had single beds. Like, was that an old school thing? Like older couples, they switched to the.
I
to
think
the
so.
two,
I know.
I've never ever
single
heard
beds.
that in my life.
Oh,
except for like on TV.
My one set of my
When you had to
grandparents
do it
did.
that way.
One set of my grandparents did. The other did not. I know a lot of people like our age who have gone to the separate bedroom thing with their spouses, which I don't think we will ever do. We are same bed, same bedroom. It's just whether or not the dog joins us now. That is the issue in our marriage right now. Hey, Noah in Utah. What's going on, Noah?
Hey guys, how you doing? First
Good.
time caller here.
Hey, Noah. Hey, welcome
I
aboard.
just wanted to say that we're going to stop the Dolphins today. They have no chance at all.
Okay.
They only have Tyreek, and I don't trust Tua to throw the ball more than 20 yards. So I'm ready for a smashing. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks.
Thanks,
All right.
Noah.
Thanks, Noah.
Some more positivity.
I'm ready for some action too.
We got some late pregame show opener positivity to fall back on. I would feel better about some of these predictions if there was something more specific behind
Well, if
them.
there was anything concrete
Yeah.
behind it.
No.
Well,
but I'm being serious. I think if someone said, the the Dolphins are down a couple of key guys in the secondary. I think this is an area they can exploit. I think you're missing Byron Jones and Eric Rowe, which are probably two of their top 5 or 6 defensive backs. Their former first-round pick is inactive. He's been a disappointment. I try not to say his name because Morrell ends up throwing it back in my face later. This is maybe a chance for the Patriots passing game to get off to a strong start in the season and put a summer of disappointment behind them immediately, right? Like that to me would be how you sort of say, I think the Patriots are going to have an edge today, as opposed to, the Dolphins don't have any players. They start.
It's kind of what I'm hoping for, and as important as it may be for the for the clean sheet, so to speak, in terms of penalties and turnovers and stuff like that. I want to see a bit of an edge, and it's tough to serve both masters, to go out there and just play mistake free and don't do anything to hurt yourself, and also play a little bit beyond the bounds of smart conservative football.
Yeah.
I think we need to see a little bit of that playing with some fire today in order for them to come out ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean,
to feel good about themselves, quite frankly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I want them to play fast and aggressive. I don't need. If they try to play tentative and not to make mistakes, they're going to get smoked. So, they need to play hard. But I think it's about execution and all these questions and recurring questions that every press conference we're asking about who's calling plays and how do we feel, and all the things that have just been beaten to the point of exhaustion by now. You go out, you execute, you win a game today. The offense looks pretty good. It looks like, hey, we have a sense of what we can do. I think a lot of those questions start to change a little bit. And you start to inspire a little bit of confidence in what they're trying to do, not only outside the team, but within the team as well. So, for them to have a successful day today, I think it would be huge. It would also be somewhat of a palate cleanser as they get back here to Gillette. We've been away in Miami. Let's settle in on the season now. We know we're working with something, and the season doesn't have to be all these questions about what's happening. It can actually be a successful one, but you got to go out there and execute.
All right, you've still got time to join us here at 855-PATS-500. We'll get to our Sunday six-pack here in just a few more minutes, but first we go to Kiefer in Atlanta. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Just a couple questions. Answer, we win because of this, and we lose because of this. And then how many times are they going to refer to Matt Patricia as the rocket scientist? I'll take this out there.
Oh, yeah, this does get mentioned quite often that he is, in fact, a scientist.
What do you got for they win because of this?
I went to Ray. I mean, I think they're able to execute and score points. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how minutia do you need to get? I mean, I just think it comes down to scoring points. I know that's stupid, but that's what it is for me. They've got to go down the field and put points on the board. I think Miami's going to score. They're not going to be able to win putting up 10 to 15
See,
points.
I don't think that's it, Deuce.
No.
If we're sitting here talking about why the Patriots ended up winning this game today, I think it's going to be as much, if not mostly, about. Turns out Miami not all that ready for prime time. Their head coach was not ready for this week one, and the Tua to Tyreek Hill connection is not there yet. I think it's about as much. It's as much about what Miami is unable to do as what the Patriots were able to do.
That's a little negative. I'm going to go more on Deuce's side of the street because we're brothers. What did you call us earlier in the show?
And by the way, just a quick caveat. Almost certainly that will not be the conversation because we look at everything through the Patriots lens, through the Patriots perspective. So if they do win today,
I say that all the time.
Yeah, and it happens in every market. You look at it from the perspective of your team. So the conversation will not be that. But if you could somehow take, the academic 30,000-foot view, I think if the Patriots win today, it's going to be as much about that Miami just not quite ready.
I think the passing game in particular, Mike said they need to score points. They need to find some cohesion on offense. I think Mac Jones needs to be sharp, and I think he needs to get the ball, down the field to some of his receivers in order for that to happen. I don't think you can sort of hope that you find a way to squeak out a 17-14 win. I think you need to be aggressive offensively. I talked about I feel like they'll run the ball better than they have during the summer. I still feel that way, but I think if we're looking at why they won, I think Mac Jones had a really strong opener.
Yeah, and I think the same. I'd flip it for why they lost. Just that the offense continued to be sporadic. They'll make a handful of plays, but not enough to sustain drives and not enough to break at least the 20-point barrier.
Rashad is in Baltimore. Rashad, thanks for being on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's going on, Rashad?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, Rashad.
I just wanted to say, I hope the Patriots win today, but my thinking is with the Patriots. Hold on.
Oh, take your time.
I don't think the defense is going to be good enough this season.
Who is it? Who is it that gives you the most concern, or what?
Yeah, the defense is, to me, like, we didn't really get to the second part. Like, if they lose, it's because of this. To me, it's they couldn't contain the Miami weapons,
the weaponry,
right?
And I do share Rashad's concerns defensively. I don't think the defenses looked great. At training camp practices, it looked great. But in the preseason games, I think it looked just okay. And I think against the Raiders, it looked bad. When the frontline guys, again, what was it Alan said? I give nothing to the preseason. I would agree with him. I've been fooled by strong performances and weak performances in preseason games many times in the past, and I won't stand for it anymore. I don't think it means a whole lot, but I do have concerns about the personnel on defense. Looks like Jelani Tavai is the starter, according to a lot of the tweets that I'm seeing.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's like, when you go from every position of the defense, I was just thinking, like, do we even have a star? Like, because we have decent players, and I think Barmore is going to be up and coming. I got high hopes about Duggar, but I'm a little pessimistic because he's a safety. But the defense, like, it hasn't been any improvements. And the last game that we seen, we literally saw the other team go up and down the field. So I'm hoping that, maybe they can prove me wrong. Maybe some young players can take a little jump, but I don't really have high expectations, not because of Mac Jones. It's just because of the defense. I just don't think they really improved anywhere.
Well, I would say for me, like, offensively, it's a lot of the same pieces, and I think you're thinking more about the offense that they're installing and can they execute. Defensively, I do think there are some new pieces in the mix than the last time we saw this defense. Now, how are they going to, deploy all those guys? How are they going to use McMillan and Wilson? I think, Paul is expressing something that a lot of people that watch this team are concerned about, that we talk all about, hey, we got to get faster. And, Jelani Tavai, more of a middle linebacker, run stopper kind of a guy. So is he going to be playing more? Does that, is he going to be able to help them deal with all the RPOs and things that Miami runs? But I do think defensively they have some pieces to play with. Now, that said, I don't think that they have the matchup pieces in the secondary to play man and, some of the things that they used to do. You heard the Rams kind of playing the Bills about, hey, we're playing a lot of zone. We should have manned them up. I don't know if the Patriots can shift and play man like that, but I am intrigued to see what's different. And if it is a lot more of the same and they look slow still, that'll be disappointing. But there are some new pieces that I'm interested in on defense.
You boys ready to get to the Sunday six-pack?
Oh, full six-pack. Let's go.
Let's go.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to the position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Don't get it mixed, yeah. I came to win it, yeah. This is the Sunday six-pack.
Clean slate for everyone.
Just
again to recap, who ended up winning the last season?
I don't know. You threw my stats away, and we're mad that I printed them out for you.
It was Hardy.
Oh,
it was definitely Hardy. I gave you the nod there, guy.
For those of us who weren't present or don't remember week one of the preseason, Morrell presented us with this 3-ring binder of last year's Sunday six-pack results. I'm like, what the hell are we supposed to do with this other than apologize to the Audubon Society for all the trees that were cut down for this volume of material that we don't need, right? And now he's in my ear saying, like, hey, I would tell you, but I give you just tell me who won. Do you remember who won? You give it 19 pages. Like, just tell me who won.
19 pages away.
I told you won.
It was the weirdest thing.
You won.
It was the weirdest
thing
that's
Hardy.
ever happened. Out of all the weird
You're
things.
the best.
I was trying to be a producer. So weird.
How dare you try and do your job?
No more
at the best of your ability.
No more show prep.
Yeah,
I frown upon that. Sort
I got yelled at once
initiative.
by Paul Perillo.
You never got yelled at me.
You
never got yelled at by me.
Trying to map out the
Ever.
show, and he said,
"You're my favorite out of all of the hosts that we've had.
Favorite?
You are definitely one of them."
All right.
You're my favorite.
You're my favorite pregame. Well, you only had one.
Oh, but still,
right?
Well, he's had Arcan now.
You're my favorite.
He has Arcan.
I had Andy too once.
Oh God, that was the worst. Oh, was that terrible? Muy terrible.
Wow. We love Andy and we love Christian and we love the Sunday six-pack. Let's get to it. What is the first game on the docket, Matt?
Saints at Falcons, New Orleans -5.5.
All right, Deuce, you lead us off. You know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my pick. I love Jameis Winston. He's so goofy. He's good. People are picking the Saints for the Super Bowl, which I think is maybe a little bit crazy, but I'm in on the Saints. I think it'll be close, though. I'm gonna take the Saints, but I'll take the points for the Falcons.
What?
Are we just doing points? Oh, did we just do one here?
So I had to cross out the very first entry of the season.
So
all right, then just give me the Falcons.
You're going Falcons plus 5.5.
Yes, I am as well. I like home dog division game. I will take them to make it a field goal game.
Oh, I love you home dog division game. That is dangerously antiquated thinking.
Is that not smart?
No.
Okay.
I'm taking the Saints.
Taking the Saints.
Next, we got the Raiders at the Chargers, LAC -3.5.
Paulie Paul.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the Raiders here in a division game. I'll take the underdog. I don't really understand the lack of respect that the Raiders are getting in this preseason run. I think that they have
the quarterback.
They won 10 games last year and got better, and everybody just automatically assumes they're dead.
They don't trust him. They don't trust the quarterback.
Yeah, well, I'll take Vegas. It's funny that they don't trust a quarterback who's been to the playoffs and gotten his team to the playoffs a couple of times, but they do trust a quarterback who I think is terrific, by the way, who's not done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you. I think there's a significant amount of positivity for the Raiders. Maybe not out of the gate against this game. I think they do come out in this game, and I think they get the win. But I'll just take the +3.5 because that's all I have to do. So I will take the Raiders +3.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders. 2, I'm a Raiders fan this year, so go Raiders.
All right, good.
Next up, Green Bay Packers at Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay -1.5.
This one I don't get. I think it should be a bigger line. I know that people are high on Minnesota this year. I just don't see it out of the gate. I know the Packers stumbled out of the gate last year and had a really bad loss in week 1. I don't think it happens again. I'll take the Pack, and I'll lay the 1.5.
Yeah, me too, for sure. I don't quite get it. Kirk Cousins of it all. Paul's guy, but give me the Pack.
Oh, yeah, I think he is very average in his adequacy. I will take Minnesota to pull off a very, very mild upset. I think Minnesota plays well against the Pack in Minnesota, and I'm going to see if that trend can continue.
All right.
Next, we got Tampa at the Dallas Cowboys. Tampa -2.5.
I mean, let's face it. This is probably the game of the weekend here. All eyes on Brady tonight and the visiting America's team, Dallas Cowboys. What do you think?
Yeah, Paul pointed out that the Dak Prescott tweaked his foot, but seems okay. Maybe that's an issue. Earlier in the week, I did pick Dallas, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one.
I'm going to take Tampa. I just feel like I'm done with being wrong about the Brady's in trouble. It's not going to work out. I mean, I'll take a couple of losses before I jump ship. I'll be okay with that.
I'm with you, Paul. I am not predicting the demise of Tom Brady again until I actually see it over the course of a few games. I will take Brady in the season opener.
The Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks. Denver -6.5.
This is an interesting game. I mean, I know what the narrative is, Paul, but are you falling on the side of the new look Denver Broncos, or you like the Hawks tonight?
Yeah, I think Denver is going to blow them out. I think Seattle is one of the 3 worst teams in football.
Oh, okay. All right, so you're going with Denver. I'm going to take the Seahawks. Putting up a fight.
Nah, I got Denver. I think they roll.
And lastly, we got the Patriots at the Dolphins. Miami -3.5.
I think Dolphins win today 24-17. So I am taking the Dolphins.
I got the Patriots. I think I just believe they're going to execute. I'm going to take them 24-21.
I am going to take Miami as well. I'm with Hardy on this one. I just feel like there's so much that hasn't been settled yet for New England. I can't imagine that a couple of good practices completely changed everything. We'll see. I think Miami wins 27-16.
All right. That does it. We got to wrap things up here. We got to go. We got kickoff here in a few minutes. Thank you very much for listening and watching. We're going to be back for the Patriots postgame show. We hope you will join us then immediately after the game as the Patriots get ready to kick off their season in Miami today against the Dolphins.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.